So today is the first day of Packers mandatory minicamp, which will be taking place from June 11th through 13th. And so I want to go over lots of the different updates that came out from practice from the different reporters who were present. And if you guys are new to the channel, I put out Packers content, Packers news, usually twice every weekday. So if you're into that kind of thing, feel free to subscribe down below. Now, first off here we have from Matt Schneidman. He says this: Jaire Alexander, Xavier McKinney, and Keyshawn Nixon not present at today's mandatory minicamp practice. All three have excused absences. Nixon is here, but he's not practicing, a non-injury related excused absence. And after practice, Matt LaFleur, when speaking with the media, talked about how it was an excused absence and that all of these guys had already hit that threshold they needed to reach to get their bonuses, their workout bonuses. And so it sounds like Matt LaFleur was satisfied with what they've done and allowed them to, not participate today in this mandatory minicamp. Then here from Paul Brettel, we have the starting offensive line. Andre Dillard, left tackle. Elton Jenkins, left guard. Josh Myers, center. Sean Ryan, right guard. And then Jordan Morgan at right tackle. It is important to remember that Zach Tom is still dealing with an injury, and so he is not factored into this equation. He's not healthy yet with that pec injury. Hopefully he's healthy around training camp when it starts. And so the interesting thing here is that Rasheed Walker had been starting out at left tackle a ton. You can see there in the second group, he was at left tackle, so I'm not sure if that is any kind of indication of Dillard pushing his way ahead of Walker. I wouldn't necessarily think so, but the Packers trying something new, putting as well Jordan Morgan at right tackle. And we had seen in the past Dillard in the first few practices at OTAs was starting at right tackle. Rasheed Walker was at left tackle. And we have seen Jordan Morgan get an opportunity at right tackle, left tackle, and even guard. And then the second group, Walker, Jenkins, Myers, Morgan moves to right guard, and then Dillard at right tackle. And so I think when everyone's healthy, Zach Tom is going to be there. He's going to definitely be in play for that right tackle spot where he was one of the best in the league. And when that happens, I would assume either Jordan Morgan moves to guard, or possibly if he could beat out Walker at left tackle. There's lots of moving pieces there on the offensive line. Then Wes Hodquist. Love dialed in 5 straight completions to open team, though Wooden likely would have had a sack. Good zip on slant to Reed on 10's 5th and final snap. So Jordan Love doing Jordan Love things. Then Andy Herman. Marshawn Lloyd can change directions in a hurry. It's so fun to watch, and with his smaller stature, it's often hard to locate him. He's going to be so fun in this offense. And that's the one of the positions where I think we'll be watching throughout the rest of the offseason training camp to see who wins that running back 2 spot, that running back 2 job, because A.J. Dillon and Emmanuel Wilson both will also be competing for that spot. And I saw some pictures of A.J. Dillon, and he looks a lot leaner, not quite as big as he was last season. He's still a really, really big, strong, muscular guy. But you can tell he seemed to lose a little bit of weight, and I'm curious to see if that really changes how he plays and maybe if he'll be more explosive this season. But it's nice to see rookie Marshawn Lloyd, making some nice plays out there. Then Mike Clemens. Packers minicamp practice 11 on 11. After a few completions, Jordan Love hands off to number 8 running back Josh Jacobs, who cuts right, finds gap off tackle, gone for 60-yard touchdown. Not even cornerback Stokes could catch up to him. So hopefully that is what we'll be seeing take place consistently this season, with Josh Jacobs coming in, replacing Aaron Jones, who got released, went to the Vikings. And Josh Jacobs, I still think he's in the prime of his career, only 26 years old, only 2 years away from, or 2 years in the past, he had the rushing title. And I think that coming to this offense with the play at quarterback much better than what he had last year in Las Vegas, I think that we're going to see Josh Jacobs have a pretty successful season this year. Then here, Andy Herman. Clifford completes to Malik Heath over the middle, but would have been a hospital ball in a live game. And I think we've seen that from Clifford in times past last preseason. He is not afraid to place the ball anywhere, and so he puts it up in the middle there for Malik Heath. Then Julian Hicks with a nice run on an end around. Pratt to Heath on a run solution. Nice awareness and read from the rookie QB, followed by Pratt to DeBose on a nice play over the middle. And so far from these practices, there has been a lot of positive news coming out about Michael Pratt. It sounds like lots of times he's making nice plays. And just from my overall view, seeing all these reporters from OTAs and now into minicamp, it seems to me, from what I've seen, that Pratt seems to be playing better overall because Clifford is having some issues with turnovers, especially today, which you will see soon. Then Ryan Wood, rookie safety Javon Bullard getting some slot reps in Packers nickel defense. No Keyshawn Nixon today, opening up those reps. Nickel corner was part of Bullard's college resume. And that's the thing with Bullard, is he did spend a good amount of time one season as the slot cornerback, and so he has that versatility, the ability to play in the slot or at safety, wherever the Packers think that he'll be the best fit. My guess is he ends up being the second starting safety next to Xavier McKinney, but we will see as time goes by. And then here from Andy Herman, red zone drills coming up. Short completion to Dobbs for 2, 2nd and 8. Interesting play. Potential sack by, I think, Preston Smith. Let the play run. Complete to Jacobs, who makes a great move and takes it into the end zone, but they call him down. Love complete to Melton on a quick out. Elton currently in at center, so that is interesting. Elton Jenkins getting some snaps at center, which we saw, I think it was either last week or the week before. He got some snaps at center as well. And so the Packers really are doing a lot of different things on the offensive line, moving Elton Jenkins to center, moving these guys all around. And so I think as training camp comes, we'll get a better idea as to who ends up where. But Josh Myers, I think he's a fine center, not really a top-tier center. And so maybe Elton could be an upgrade there. And if that happens, maybe we see someone like Jordan Morgan go to left guard. Tons of different potential outcomes there on the offensive line. Brenton Cox with a fantastic pressure. Malik Heath caught in the back of the end zone, but couldn't get the second foot in. Bullard in coverage. 3rd and goal from the 4 upcoming. Love to read for a touchdown, who celebrates with a backflip. Brenton Cox with another fantastic pressure, this time beating Andre Dillard clean. Back-to-back great practices from Cox. Then here from Rob Domofsky, at Packers minicamp, Jair Alexander, Xavier McKinney, and Keyshawn Nixon have been given the minicamp off by Coach LaFleur. They've previously exceeded their threshold for offseason participation to qualify for their workout bonuses. LaFleur has raved about all 3. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I think the fact that they were present at so many different practices, missing one is not a big deal. We've seen them here consistently, and Matt LaFleur seems to be pretty satisfied with what they've been doing. Then here for Matt Schneidman, Marshawn Lloyd has been getting some oohs and ahs from his teammates today running the ball. And Marshawn Lloyd, I think, is going to be, if he wins that number 2 running back job, I think he's going to do a lot out of the backfield. Seems to be a very quick, speedy back who can, do a lot when it comes to receiving as well. And I think Josh Jacobs also has that skill set, but we have seen in times past the Packers love to give their running backs, split the backfield, where even though Josh Jacobs will probably get a majority of the carries, the Packers don't want to wear down their number 1 guy, because when you get to playoff time, you don't want a guy who, has run the ball 300 plus times necessarily just because of the wear and tear. You want to make sure he stays healthy. And so Lloyd could be that number 2 guy. Matt Schneidman, Zane Anderson picks off Sean Clifford on the goal line during red zone drill for the first interception I think we've seen during open practice this season. So a pick by Zane Anderson. That's the first of many to come, you will see. Then Andy Herman, Tyrone Hopper just knifed through on a blitz for a pressure/potential sack in red zone. Pratt to Swenson for a touchdown on a bootleg on red zone. Pratt off to a great start today. So Pratt continuing to make plays. And then Hopper, being a 3rd-round draft pick, I think he's going to have a chance to compete here when it comes to this linebacker group. My guess is that it's going to be Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, of course, with Edgerrin Cooper being the 2nd-round pick. When it comes to having 3 linebackers on the field, when it's the 4-3, not nickel, Hopper could push his way in there and potentially be one of those guys. We'll have to wait and see, but I like to see Jeff Hafley, blitzing these linebackers, and I think we're going to see a lot of that this season. Then here from Matt Schneidman, Anderson just picked off Clifford again. Throw over the middle was behind Grant Dubose and deflected. Anderson came down with it. So Sean Clifford, another bad ball picked off by Anderson once again. Then Andy Herman, great out route and perfect throw from Clifford to Heath. Emmanuel Wilson with a nice run. Big hole generated behind the massive duo of Kadeem Telfort and Caleb Jones on the right side. Next play, same thing. Good blocking from Telfort/Clifford. Eric Wilson did a nice job making sure it wasn't a bigger play. Then Ryan Wood. Edgerrin Cooper just had a blitz unblocked off the right edge and would have flattened Sean Clifford if Clifford wasn't wearing a red jersey. Impressive burst from the rookie linebacker, and a sign Packers are thinking creatively with him. And so as I said earlier, just a few seconds ago, the Packers are probably going to bring a lot more blitzes this year. Hafley seems to be a much more aggressive type play caller and wants to blitz lots of these linebackers, which I, for one, am excited to see. Then Andy Herman. Jordan Love is getting better at manipulating defenders with his eyes. Looks outside all the way and then fires over the middle to Sims for a nice pickup. Then again, Andy Herman. Jordan Love to Jaden Reed deep down the field for a touchdown. Reed beat Ballantyne clean, maybe a tick underthrown, but Reed easily went up and got it for the touchdown. Jaden Reed was a leading receiver here last year on the Packers, and as we all know, I think lots of these guys can be the number one type receiver, and I think we're going to see it spread out pretty evenly just like we did last year. Then Matt Schneidman. Number one offense goes 4 and out in 2-minute drill, down 7 with the ball at midfield and 1:09 left. Ballantyne and Walker blitzed on 4th down, and Love floated one short for Watson. Couldn't tell if it was a drop or a pass breakup by Ballantyne. So once again, Jeff Haflett bringing the blitz, also bringing Ballantyne from corner on the blitz. And we saw last year Joe Barry, he would occasionally bring some blitzes, but not very often, much more passive type play caller. And Hafley does not seem like he has any of that, in his plans for this season. The Packers bringing a lot of pressure here. Then Andy Herman. I'm already so impressed with how Michael Pratt manages everything as a QB. Not on the same page with Toure, points at himself. Go talks to Toure after the play and dabs him up. Have seen a lot of this from him already. You can tell the leadership potential he has. He's been slinging it today too. And so that's one other battle to watch is going to be that second quarterback spot, the backup QB, because even though Sean Clifford, drafted last year, has a year under his belt in this Packers offense, Michael Pratt, even though he's a 7th-round pick, many people thought he was much better than that. The Packers even seemed surprised that he was there when they picked in the 7th round. And so he's going to be competing, I think, for that second spot with Sean Clifford, and that's probably going to be one of the things to watch when it comes to these Packers preseason games, because I'm not sure how much Jordan Love will be playing. Probably not a ton, but Pratt and Clifford will probably be competing there in the preseason to see who gets that number 2 backup role. Then here, Ryan Wood. Eric Stokes with a pass breakup against Christian Watson on 3rd and 5 and 2-minute drill. Big play for him. Next rep, Watson drops 4th down crosser from Jordan Love. Packers starting defense forces 4 and out. Then here from Rob Domofsky to end it. Minicamp practice number 1 goes to the defense. Zane Anderson's third interception of the day ends it. Also, big pass rushing day for Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, Colby Wooden, and Kenneth Odumegwu. So, as I said, Sean Clifford had a tough day today, throwing 3 separate picks to Zane Anderson, who didn't do too much last year, but a big day for him nonetheless. But that is all for today's updates. If you want more Packers content and want to stay up to date with the rest of minicamp and training camp, make sure you subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you don't miss any Packers news, and I'll see you guys next time.